Yo, we're back with Deep Images, and we are covering Halloween 2025. So, if you followed us the last two Halloweens, and I hope you have, if you haven't, you can get the episodes down here and watch them. We have covered a huge range of topics and movies. So, we're starting this one out with a topic contributed by our social producer Tim Tolbert, who could not be here tonight: human monsters. So, obviously, you can imagine any kind of serial killer, spree killer, cult leader, evil politician, just anything non-supernatural where it's human on human crime, as I call it now. So
Wow.
we're doing a great one. Well, this man here, Robert Spaghetti, is doing a great one. Let's introduce everybody. There's AC Nicholas. I'm Henry Covert. Here's the co-host Justin Cotton, CF Roberts, and we're turning it over to Robert Spaghetti, and he's going to do an iconic example.
Well, the film I selected for tonight is Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Great title.
And you can't get any more ghastly than that, I think. 83 minutes from 1986, an American independent psychological horror film, directed and co-written by John McNaughton and Richard Fire, and it stars Michael Rooker in his film debut, and also stars Tom Tolles as Otis, a prison buddy with whom Henry is living, and Tracy Arnold as Becky, who is Otis's sister. This is whole movie was loosely based
Cut,
on.
cut, buddy. We're gonna bring
Oh,
him in. We'll bring him
okay,
in on camera, but you can keep going.
sure,
All right, Bill, you're back.
all right.
Okay, so Bill, welcome back. This is Bill Mulligan. So we're covering Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. Robert, go
Sure.
ahead.
This whole movie was loosely based on true life serial killers Henry Lee Lucas and Otis Toole. And Henry really got the spotlight because he kept getting interviewed by all these cold case divisions, and they would ply him with milkshakes and cigarettes, and he would basically then make up a lot of stuff and say, well, tell me about this case. And they would basically give him the background, and he would just say, oh yeah, I remember that one, I did that. And he basically only ever really in real life killed his mother and Becky, who was the niece of Otis.
Now, did he not? But he was an accomplice to Otis's murders, correct?
Um, Otis
Otis killed a lot of
supposedly,
people, but he also
yes,
exaggerated.
yes, he did. They were both well-known liars. Otis, in real life, was the chief suspect in the murder of Adam Walsh, son of John Walsh, from America's Most Wanted.
That's why he started it.
Yeah, and it was Otis was a 6 foot some transvestite
He was low in the
arsonist.
IQ scale too.
Yes, he was. They were quite the pair, those two.
Yeah, Otis was kind of subhuman. I hate to say that. I mean,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
what is your verdict on the Adam Walsh? Because I read a recent thing or saw a recent true crime video, and for a while they were like, it's debunked, just he was just lying. But then recently, John Walsh and some other people were like, no, he definitely did it. So I don't.
They found his son's head in a bag in a river,
Yeah,
in a reservoir, and Otis claimed it, but who knows whether or not it was just folklore. It might have been just to add to his credibility.
Walsh might be just saying it's him now, just to have closure.
Right.
Yeah, he's needing to give himself closure. That shit broke him.
Oh, seriously.
It's horrible that you became famous, sadly, as a result of that kind of tragedy. I'm not saying he
Exactly.
capitalized on it because he did a lot of good on that show.
Right. The film was shot in 1985, but there was a problem finding a film distributor. It premiered at the Chicago International Film Festival in '86 and played at other festivals throughout the '80s. The film was at first rated X by the MPAA, which only enhanced its outlaw reputation. Subsequently picked up for a limited distribution in 1990 in an unrated version. It was shot on 16 millimeter in less than a month with a budget of $110,000.
Same budget
So
as
it
mine
was
would have.
made for nothing practically, but the film did strike a nerve. And the version that I have has a wonderful slipcase, which the cover art was done by one of my favorite artists, Joe
Oh,
Coleman.
yeah. Is that the DVD
Ah,
release?
yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I did have that. I
Dark
sold that one.
Skies.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
Dark Sky. I got the Blu-ray
yeah,
on Kino Lorber. Thank God for
yeah.
Lorber. Um,
Seriously.
but it's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Um,
It got really mainstream fast in a weird way. I mean,
yeah, yeah.
even
Well,
Siskel and Ebert
I think
talked
it was
about it.
the timing, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just it kind of struck the mainstream at that high point. Henry is a psychopathic drifter who indiscriminately murders assorted people, men, women, children. He migrates to Chicago where he begins a murderous spree of killing. Otis picks up his sister Becky at O'Hare International Airport and brings her back to the dingy apartment that he shares with Henry. Otis tells Becky that Henry killed his mother, but makes her promise not to tell him. And that's a weird moment in the film because Otis and Becky are talking, and he fesses up about Henry killing his mother, and then later she's talking to Henry, and he says, "Yeah, I killed my mother. I shot her." And she says, "Oh, I thought you clubbed her to death." And he says, "Oh, yeah, I got confused, you know, because there's been so many bodies that he can't keep it straight. You know, one murder after another. It's all the same." Um,
Rough.
in reality, Henry Lee Lucas did kill his mother by stabbing her, but in the film, he claims that he stabbed her to death, but he contradicts this earlier statement where he claims to shot her or beat her to death with a baseball bat. Henry chronicles a childhood of despair where his mother humiliated him by having sex with multiple men in front of Henry and his father. Now, his father in real life had lost both his legs in a train accident, and his father later died after crawling out into a snowbank to escape the hell that was ongoing in that house.
Wow, I forgot that.
And the only time I felt sorry for Henry was when he talked about how his mother killed his favorite animal, which was a pet mule, and you know
The
she
real
did
ending is
that.
weird because I don't like him at all, and I think he's reprehensible.
Yeah,
But the things that were done to him were it might
right.
be hard impossible not to go insane.
Absolutely.
I
His
don't
mother
know.
dressed him as a girl when
Yeah,
he was growing up, made him go to school that way. You know, he was taught to have sex with barnyard animals and then kill them. And so, you know, he basically all those prototypes for a serial killer were in place with Henry.
mm,
Uh, in reality, Becky was 12 years old, and her and Henry have a sexual relationship. In the film, Otis makes an incestuous pass at Becky, and Henry violently threatens him and makes him promise not to do it again. Becky is interested in Henry, but he seems repulsed by her overtones.
but
And
she's
that
not a minor in the movie, just to be clear.
no,
Yeah,
yeah, that it's kind of an odd situation because the three of them are living in this dingy apartment in Chicago,
yeah.
and Otis is hot to trot, as they say, and it's just repulsive. The next day, Becky wanders the city looking for a job. She gets work as a shampoo girl at a salon. Henry and Otis pick up two whores who Henry kills by breaking their necks.
Hmm.
Otis is shocked by Henry's actions, but Henry invites Otis to partake in his murderous lifestyle.
Yeah.
Henry's philosophy of murder is simple: change MOs often, and murder strangers, leave no witnesses, keep on moving. The police won't have a clue who is doing the murders, which according to Henry's confessions, that's exactly what he did. He would change up, shoot him with a gun one time, set him on fire another time, burn him alive, stab him to death. It didn't matter.
Ted Bundy did that kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He kept
Bundy.
moving, and he varied some of his assault.
Yeah, right. Bundy had a thing about brunettes with hair parted down the middle.
Yeah.
Because that was what his first girlfriend looked like.
Yeah.
Otis destroys the old console TV that they were watching in the apartment, and Henry takes him to a fence to buy a new one. The fence was played by Ray Atherton, who was in reality an expert on films in public domain. And the guy wasn't a professional actor by any means. He's like this grossly overweight guy. And Henry kills him with a soldering iron by stabbing him in the stomach repeatedly.
Don't they smash the TV on him?
Yes. Otis has wrapped the cord around his neck. And then he says to Otis, go ahead. And they put a miniature TV on this man's head, and Henry laughs and says, plug it in. And so then the guy gets electrocuted. There's a bizarre sense of humor in
yeah,
the
it's
whole
funny,
film.
but then the fact is so matter of fact also. Like,
thin line there between gross stuff and funny stuff. The opening scenes are assorted bodies that are attributed to Henry, but there's no additional information about who is responsible, when they occurred, motive, etc. The scene with the fence is powerful and disturbing because that's where the killers obtain the video camera, which they will use to film their handiwork later. There is a certain charm to its low-budget appeal and the gritty way in which McNaughton captures all the sadistic and terrifying violence. And I was writing down some of these wonderful quotes from the film, and Henry says, guns are easy to get, Otis. Anybody can get a gun. And Michael Rooker has a quiet, raging energy inside of him that is just under the surface.
Yeah, he has a lot
and
of
this was his big break was he was working as a janitor and would come right from work to the audition. So there's scenes where he's wearing his work clothes, and if there's going to be a scene that's bloody, he takes his jacket off because he didn't want to get it stained. Fact, Lucas lost an eye at age 10 due to his mother, yes, real life, hitting him with a 2x4.
Torture never stops, this Frank Zappa.
No, and this film is appalling in its sense of humor. There's a scene where Henry leaves the apartment and he goes to get a pack of cigarettes, and the corner store clerk says, "How about them bears?" And Henry just says, "Fuck the bears." And that Michael Rooker voice. Yeah. The violent scene involving the fence and the soldering iron is almost laughable because it is overplayed, almost slapstick-like in the performance. Later on, they watch a recorded home invasion in which a suburban family of 3 is killed.
That's a great
one. Oh, yeah. That's really,
that's where it turns
for me, the high point of that film is because they're watching it on video.
What they've
but
done.
You don't know that till it pulls back.
Yeah.
And then you realize it's on video because Otis has the remote control and is watching it in slow motion.
Yes, and
he says, "I want to see it again."
Yeah, I want to see. So didn't Otis rape the wife, and Henry chased after the boy.
He was starting to rape the wife, and Henry objected to it,
and snapped her neck.
Snapped her neck. And then snapped the little kid's neck. And then the husband is basically tied up on the floor with a pillowcase over his head. And Henry starts kicking him and basically kills him.
Do you feel like Henry, or is it an obvious question? Do you feel like he has his own code in the movie, not in the real life guy?
Absolutely.
Does it mainly involve sexual violence? I would
Yeah,
assume.
he
Yes.
has his own code, and I don't think he's terribly fond of
No.
sex, generally speaking.
No,
Yeah.
because there's a scene where him and Becky, like Becky is obviously wants to have Henry's attention,
Yeah.
and she starts making out with him, and Henry just kind of shies away from the whole embrace, and that's
Yeah.
when he goes out for
Sounds
cigarettes.
like my last few dates. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I don't get dates.
Okay. Becky quits her job after learning that her ex-husband has been jailed for murder. Um, and that was weird because it's she learns that by a phone call that comes from long distance from Memphis or Kentucky or wherever they were living. And Otis and Henry drive around videotaping various women on the streets, but the camera gets destroyed because Otis is leaning out the window with it, and he gets clipped by another car. And Otis says, "Well, I could fix it." And Henry's like, "What? Are you a video cassette recorder fixer?" Henry has such an odd way of speaking. His manner is so abrupt and condensed.
Yeah.
So they go out to get a steak dinner, Henry and Becky. And after they return home, Becky puts the moves on Henry, but he refuses her advances and is interrupted by Otis. Henry leaves to get some smokes and comes home to find Otis attempting to rape Becky.
He is
Becky,
raping her.
yes,
I think contact has been made. I don't mean to be gross.
yeah, no, but
You
he
don't see it, but
definitely, yeah. And it's interesting how that's all played out. But Henry, is enraged and
mm-hmm.
attacks Otis, and Becky gets a what's that called, a rat-tailed comb, and pokes Otis's eye out, which
Yeah.
was
I was
really,
happy about that.
nasty.
Right, right.
And he starts screaming, and then Henry jumps on him with the comb and just stabs him to death. And then he drags the body into the bathroom, and they spent $7,000 on a fake decapitated head.
Mm.
And they show him doing that, putting it in garbage bags, and then later drives over a bridge and dumps it.
I'd make the head the star of the movie for that money.
Yeah, definitely.
Hell.
I got paid more than the actors.
No doubt. Let's see. Henry drags him into the bathroom and starts dismembering Otis. Becky and Henry abandon the apartment, dump Otis's body off a bridge in garbage bags. They arrive at a
Well deserved.
small roadside hotel and go to bed. Next morning, only Henry departs the hotel, and the last scene is Henry carrying a heavy suitcase and abandoning it on a roadside.
That's a
And
heartbreaking ending for
it
me.
is, because what's in that bag is Becky.
But
Yeah.
the fact that you're not told,
You're not told. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
if you have some kind of hope that he has some kind of
Yes.
soul,
No.
maybe she
no.
left or went somewhere else. Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
It's cold.
But the worst scene, my worst scene that bothers me,
Yeah.
not any of the killings or any of their crazy stuff. That rape scene,
Yes.
brief as it is, when I first saw that movie, I mean, I felt like vomiting. It was just like,
Oh yeah.
it's one of the most short, but it's most
repulsive.
intense, absolutely insanely animalistic, just to the point.
Yes.
And
Yep.
they're siblings. That makes it 100 times worse.
Oh yeah. Totally.
Horrible. And she
Yeah.
looks like she's in pain. He's like,
Yes.
gets her arm all the way back.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Yes.
this is like a, and there's the rape revenge and there's quick at least, but I wouldn't call it a rape revenge movie, but
Yeah. Not in that film.
but it's like a compacted, I spit on your grave.
Yeah. It's a great film. I
Yeah.
really have to
Yeah.
admire the style that they put into it. On for no money, basically just went to McNaughton and said, "We want to make a horror film," and he saw a 2020 piece on Henry Lee Lucas and was intrigued, and that's where the idea came from. So
That's
there's
a
nothing worse than the real deal for human monsters.
yes for
Yeah.
human monsters. That see, this is like when we talked about Peeping Tom. Only it's
Yep.
several steps ahead. I mean,
Right.
Henry. I wouldn't say he's likable, but he's not. He's entertaining. He's
Yes.
not a bad looking guy. You know, he's kind of funny unintentionally. And you think maybe he has some kind of code going on. So it's challenging you.
Complex calendar.
Yeah, just challenging
Ca-
you again with that.
character,
Yeah. What were you gonna say, AC? I saw you.
I was going to say, I find this movie really disturbing, like most people do. And that's why it couldn't get an R rating, which it
Yes.
needed. But Roger Ebert, the legendary critic,
Yeah.
was the real champion of it.
Yeah.
And it's extremely well made because it merges two genres here, which is the psycho killer genre and an art film.
Right.
If you look at the opening scene,
Oh,
incredibly disturbing.
Yes.
A body and a naked woman.
Yep.
Dead
Montage of,
in
Coke
the
of
bottle.
bodies.
all
Yeah.
these bodies. And
Oof.
Rooker, when I saw this movie, I thought, this guy is going to be a star.
Yeah.
And he was
Sort of.
many years later in Guardians
Yeah.
of the Galaxy.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Took a while.
to quote that, and this is going to sound like a cliche, but to quote that famous statement, the banality of evil.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is a movie about
Absolutely.
banal people who do the most evil things you've seen.
Yeah.
And the thing is, to me the key, and I guess this ties in with what Otis or whatever you call him ends up doing to Becky is Henry. We've established has done all these awful things. You see the victims in the beginning. You see he sees flashes of murder occasionally, and he says he killed his mom somehow. But he takes Otis on his little trip. But what you find out is it's like a matter of degrees. They're still fucking with you as far as who you sympathize with, if anybody. Of course, you sympathize with Becky. That's really the only one.
Right.
But between Otis and Henry
Yeah.
starts Otis, and he becomes way more twisted than Henry, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
he's like
Yeah.
a total nihilistic fuck. You know what I mean? It's like,
Because he enjoys it
Huh?
too much.
Yeah.
yeah, too much.
Oh yeah.
Michael Rooker at least is a little removed from things. He doesn't giggle like a maniac.
Yeah.
But
See,
Yeah.
Otis is a
Otis,
liability.
Otis is just having a good time. It's
Yeah,
like
and-
this is the best thing I've ever found.
He's an idiot because he's a liability to Henry. Henry's
Right.
cool, and Otis is like, yeah. Don't know.
Yep.
Great performance by Tom Tolles. I definitely hated the character.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyone else have thoughts on Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer? Chuck, have you seen this? I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I watch this maybe every 10 years or so. It's one of those movies that's kind of like it's I don't know,
Cleanse the
picture of
palate.
humanity just kind of makes you sick to your stomach. But every 10 years or so I develop the stomach to watch it again, and we fire it up, and yeah, just Michael Rooker, fantastic. Tom Tolles, fantastic in the worst possible way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's something else. It's a landmark.
Yeah, it is a movie.
Whether it's a
that's
landmark you can handle,
Right.
that's up
Right.
to the viewer.
I watch about every few years. Yeah. What about you, Bill? Do you watch this at all? Do you like it, hate it?
No, I've watched it, and it's one of those. It's necessary. If you're a horror fan, I think you got to watch it. It's not my cup of tea. It's well done. It's well done for what it is. It's just so bleak.
Mm.
I probably would have to get in the right mood to watch it again, and probably not have my wife with me while I do. So
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't revisit it often, but it is really well done, well performed. But yeah, not a happy night at the cinema there.
No.
No, it's one. I think. I mean, I love it as a piece of art, and I respect it. I respect it even more than I actually like it. As far as what stuff where Robert said it really well. I mean, McNaughton set out to do something, and he accomplished it, and against all odds, and it has endured. And like any piece of art, and it can't just be written off like, you know, a lot of slashers or extreme gore films. You know, it has some kind of substance. I mean, arguably, Henry in the movie is a much more interesting person to me than the real guy by far.
Mm-hmm.
The
Oh
real
yeah. Oh
guy,
yeah.
he's repulsive to look at. I know he's
Yes.
ugly. He didn't mean to lose his eye, but
Yeah.
just the way he talks, and I don't blame him for being repulsive, but he should have just kept it in his pants and not killed anybody, you know. But just like, but you know, you should have just gone to a psych ward before Reagan shut them down. And he is just so sickening, but Otis is more sickening. And then, but with Otis, you go, well, he's obviously mentally challenged, heavily mentally challenged,
Mm-hmm.
but he's also like got this thing because he's, you know, like a lot of people his generation, he's gay, but he grew up self-loathing, so he acts out in all these fucked up ways, you know, like Dahmer did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
It's weird that these movies have given us movies and TV have given us the perception that serial killers are brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, they're crazy, they're psychopaths, they're sociopaths, they're missing a conscience, but they're very intelligent. The Dr. Lecter
Yeah.
trope.
Yep.
But in real life, they're seldom like
Right.
that. And
Yeah.
even the ones that have a reputation for being intelligent, you know, I look at the interviews of who was the Florida one who got executed? You know, the good-looking guy, not Jeffrey Dahmer. No, he was crazy.
Bundy.
Bundy.
Yeah, Bundy.
Bundy.
Bundy. Oh, yeah. They were talking
Yeah.
about how charming he was and
Yeah.
brilliant. Like, I don't know. I'm looking at the interviews.
I agree
I'm like,
with
I don't
Bill.
think, I'm not impressed.
I'm not
Yeah.
either. I think it's some kind of sexual thing that women picked up on, but I never saw it. I mean, I didn't see it as some kind of. I mean, you know, and you know, did you see? Any of you guys see like the little mini series on Netflix where Zac Efron of all people?
Oh yeah.
Like Ted
Yeah.
Bundy?
Yes, yes, yes.
I thought it was fairly effective for what it was. I didn't see it to the end, but anybody saw that?
Yeah, it was interesting.
I've seen it come up on Netflix. Yeah.
It's-
Is that a series or a movie?
It was. I
It's
think
a
it's like
series.
it's a mini series. Yeah.
They only got to do two halves, X amount of episodes, and then because the budget was too high, the director called it quits. He said it was too hard to do, and they were leading up to doing BTK. That was the storyline. That was going to be the the climax, as it were, of the series.
Manhunter. Manhunter.
Yeah, that's it.
Mhm.
Yep,
What's it called? Mindhunter.
Mindhunter.
Or Mindhunter.
Is this the
Mindhunter.
same one that Zac
Mindhunter.
Efron was in? Was that part of it?
Yeah,
No, that's not it.
No, they're two different ones,
Yeah, two different ones.
but they're both on Netflix.
right.
Yeah, they're both on Netflix.
Zac
one
Efron
with
is
Zac
on one
Efron.
that was like a two-part thing, and it's kind of focuses on Henry's Ted's early exploit.
Yeah, right.
And then the one on Mindhunter goes into all the deep shit.
Yeah,
Like,
they do an assortment of serial killers, including Ed Kemper and Brutus, who was a shoe fetish guy, and trying to think who else was included in that bunch. But it was all based on reality when they were trying to get that in the basement of the FBI headquarters off the ground. They were trying to. There was three people that were involved, and it was Ann Burgess, who was a registered nurse, and then you had two special agents that were involved, and I can't remember their names right now.
Well, they fictionalized it. I'm going to jump
Right.
in for a second. Holt McCallney played the older of the two agents.
Right.
And I once met John Douglas, who was the guy who wrote the book.
There you go,
Mindhunter.
John Douglas.
And
yeah,
that's
John
who
Douglas.
he's based on.
Right.
It's the unit at Quantico for the
Yes.
FBI, the behavioral science unit.
Yes, that's
And
exactly
you mentioned
right.
Ed Kemper, and he's fascinating because he had a
Yeah.
genius level IQ.
Right.
And if you watch Mindhunter, they did a fantastic job. The actor, I forget what his name is, Cameron something, played him. And
He was perfect.
Kemper
Yeah,
is
he
like
was.
6 foot something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Side glasses, genius
yeah, he's
IQ.
big.
And when
Yeah.
they interviewed him, and this is real life because Mindhunter, the series, used transcripts of the actual interviews.
Yeah.
Right.
Kemper may have played these guys because he said at one point, he goes, when I see a pretty girl walking down the street, half of me wants to date her, and the other half wants to see her head up on a pike on my dresser.
Yeah.
That was
Like,
ripped
right.
off by
wow.
Patrick Bateman.
Yeah,
Yes,
really
that's right.
crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And creepy and weird.
Kemper had what I liked about I like, that's a loose term, but what I find fascinating about Kemper, ever watching a bunch of interviews, is he had maybe an unusual degree of self-awareness about
Right.
what he was, and that he was able to articulate it to other people,
Yes,
right.
in that way.
And Henry, he had a sense of humor too, because they asked him, they said, well, what do you think should happen to guys like you? And he goes, yeah, by torture.
Yep.
Just a complete.
But like, he expresses that he knows.
Oh, he totally
he could have been different, but he followed the wrong path.
Right.
Exactly.
He's just so matter of fact about it.
Oh,
yeah.
Like, yeah, I ruined everything.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
Well,
man.
it was his mom that fucked him up. You know,
Yeah.
she had him sleep in the basement next to the furnace, and he used to imagine that, you know, he would see the devil in the flames and shit like that. And she was hell on wheels.
And I understand, I may be getting this slightly wrong, but correct me if I'm wrong. His mom had always whined to him about how she could never find a guy and ever have sex. So when he killed her and decapitated her, he fellatiated her head and said, how do you like that? Now, Mom, you're getting what you want.
This is the kind of shit you think is fictional in a trauma movie, but really happened.
Right.
Yeah. Life is always scarier than fiction.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, before we go too far afield, because we will definitely be talking to some of these people later, maybe. Any final thoughts on Henry from anybody here, including, of course, Robert?
Strong stuff, but worth it.
Well said. Okay. Does it get our recommendation? It gets 1 thumbs up for me. It's 1 3/4 thumbs up for me. So cool. So Justin, tell them what you had on your mind, man.
Well, thanks so much for watching. We hope you're enjoying this as much as we're enjoying presenting it and watching the films. Please do check out the films if you haven't seen them before. But also, importantly, like the videos that we're putting up. Remember to subscribe to our channel, and feel free to leave a comment in relation to a contribution of any sort to these reviews. And, of course, hit the notification bell for our channel as well. Thanks again.
Have a good night. More human monsters coming. Watch out.
And it's true that we cannot see that far behind. If we looked all the way in the past, we'd go blind. In the night, from the stars as they've all lived their lives, and the light that they gave as they burned and then died.